Henry VIII was a tyrant and a psychopath. He would have found a way to get rid of her. Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. In this video, it's not just a review about that clip where Anne Boleyn gives birth to Elizabeth I. I would like also to discuss Henry's reaction and discuss if it's historically accurate in the Tudors. But also I would like to discuss the fact that she did give birth to a girl and not a boy. And what I think would have happened if she had given birth to a boy. If I think she would have survived Henry VIII's tyranny. Hold on. We do not have lots of records regarding Anne giving birth. However, we do have some records from midwives of the time. And I am not sure that they would have let her be on her back. Being on your back is not a position that is actually comfortable when you give birth, or and it is more a modern thing because of the epidural, right? It means that you can't use your legs, but at that time that was the least likely kind of position, if you see what I mean. Hold on. You could not push hard on your back. I'm sorry to insist on this. I'm not a doctor, but I gave birth to 2 kids, and you cannot push hard when you're on your back. It's actually very difficult, and I don't think that... Okay, so here you have the 2 ladies in waiting, where I'm like, well, maybe because, like, at the end of the day, Anne was queen, right? So she probably would have had her ladies in waiting not far. At the same time, you know, it's almost like when you give birth, like, I think all the rules go out of the window, right? Like, you are so vulnerable, you're so... And you rely on the knowledge of other people. And here, the midwives at the time have much more power and knowledge than doctors. Doctors do not help women give birth. It's women's jobs. It's a women for women. And there's this kind of like very strong bond and very strong community. So here I think the midwives would have been like, okay, like, there's 2 of you. Might be a bit too much, you know?
And I want you to organise jousts, banquets and masks to celebrate the birth of my son. I can't decide whether to call him Henry.
So here we clearly have Henry VIII talking about the birth of his son. It's something he's been waiting for. It's something that he's hoped for. And it is the main reason why he changed wives. Now that's where it gets interesting. Is it the only reason why he changed wives? Or did he have a special bond with Anne Boleyn? Some people would come at me and say, yeah, they did. I think it's a difficult one. I think it is in many ways because Anne Boleyn refused to become a mistress and offered, not just her, you know, Cromwell did, Cromer did, like, there might be another way. You could get an annulment and remarry and have legitimate sons. And I think Anne Boleyn was the right person at the right time when it happened. His interest, his lust interest was her. And how she refused to give herself away for just being a mistress, that's where all his attention went to.
I can't decide whether to call him Henry or Edward. And I've already asked the French ambassador to hold him at the font during his christening. If he drops him, it's war.
It's here, Aaron, it's here. Push.
Again, it kills me to see her on her back when there's literally no reason for her to be on her back. And especially at that time, it would be much, much easier. So here we clearly have Mary Boleyn by her side. Fair enough. I mean, we don't have much records, but what I like here is that it shows a kind of a strong bond between the 2 sisters, and I like that very much. But this thing that you're on your back, how can you push something? Like, you need gravity to help you do it as well. Like, on your all fours or completely standing, you know, squatting. I just think that here it is not, in a way, historically accurate, because in the midwives, like the little diaries, the little records we have from midwives, this is not a position that is, that is encouraged. And even today, if you don't have an epidural or some sorts of drugs, they won't put you on your back. It won't be the best position for you. So yeah, I just like it here how there's been so much time to try to look at the details and stuff, but it's like these two also ladies in waiting, including Mary, is like super well dressed and stuff. Like, come on, it's gonna get messy. It's messy. It's for hours.
Push. Push. What is it? What's happening? Nothing. Nothing. Your Majesty has given birth to a very healthy baby girl.
Would she have felt that disappointment at the time? I don't know. Again, we don't have any records. I think it's highly possible given the story, right? The love story between Henry and her. But also when you give birth, honestly, you're just so happy that your baby is healthy. I think the disappointment would have come later. When I say the disappointment, it's just like all the pressure and the expectations on her. We know that she loved Elizabeth completely, so I don't know if I don't know. He was disappointed from the start. That we know for sure. But well, he didn't give birth. He didn't go through labor, so.
I'm so sorry.
You and I are both young, and by God's grace, boys will follow.
It is true. I mean, he was disappointed. We know that. It was a massive slap on his face, on many other people's face who supported Anne. It must have been hard for Anne. But with Anne, she's obviously so happy to be a mother, so in love with her baby daughter. But for others, it's just, oh my God, like all of this to have another daughter, politically, it's a failure. Now, let's go on to the next part of this video. I think it's a difficult one. A lot of people believe that if Anne Boleyn had given birth to a boy, she would have been saved. Many historians would agree with this. Many people who love history and love Anne Boleyn would agree with this. And I really don't. So let's discuss this. Why don't I think that it would have saved her to give birth to a boy? I think that it would not have saved Jane Seymour in the longer run if she had lived. And I'm going to tell you why. Because, and especially true for Anne, it's a bit different for Jane, but it's very true for Anne. I always say that it's very hard to know for sure the religion of Anne Boleyn. I personally believe that she's just a Catholic until the end. But because I don't think that you just change your faith, something that is so important to your identity, to your system beliefs, to the society. So, you think you're going to go to heaven. You don't think that, there's a risk you can go to hell. If you're heretic, but there's a big but. But Anne Boleyn was interested in Reformed ideas. I don't think that when she died in 1536, she had enough time to fully embrace the new faith. It's the same with Marguerite of Angoulême, which we call a French mentor, the sister of Francis I, who was, however, more and more interested in the Reformed ideas, way more than Anne at the same time. But there's always a turning point, and there was a turning point for Marguerite of Angoulême where she completely embraced it. It's clear in her writing, it's clear in her correspondence. With Anne, we don't have that. What we know is that she is reading Tyndale. We know that she's, interested in the ideas, that she thinks that there's something there. But at first, she thinks that she's interested in that because they're giving her the agency she needs to become Queen of England, to convince Henry, in many ways, that he doesn't need the Pope, to explain that there's so much corruption in the Catholic Church that he can do something much better. It's the same with Henry VIII, who did not change his religion until he died. He remained a Catholic. He just did not believe in the Pope's authority. And this is two different things. And Anne Boleyn, what do we know? We know that she voiced her concerns about the dissolution of monasteries at the very beginning. So she would have really not liked what happened later on. We know that she gave money to monks and to charities that would help the poor. And if she had lived even with a son, I think she would have embraced more and more Protestant ideas. Because though, yes, she voiced her concerns about the dissolution of monasteries, that shows a strong Catholic faith, she also did that because she loved charity. I think she loved people. She was extremely human. And so, but at the same time, she would have realized the corruption of the Catholic Church. And maybe she would have liked to find another way. So maybe not the total dissolution of monastery, but replacing slowly but surely, making sure that these people don't lose everything and embrace a new faith slowly but surely. And you know what happened with Catherine Parr? We all know what happened with Catherine Parr. Catherine Parr was very much into Reformed ideas. She was also her own spirit, free spirit. She wrote books. She's the first female writer, there's lots of things that are so incredible about Catherine Parr. But I see lots of similarities between Catherine Parr and Anne Boleyn, especially when it comes to religion. And where I think that Anne Boleyn would have gone more and more radicalized. And we know that people tried to bring down Catherine Parr. She would come that close to dying. But that's also because it was at the end of Henry VIII's reign. So imagine that Anne Boleyn gave birth to a boy in 1533. We think she's safe. Let's say she doesn't have any other children, because she didn't have any other children with Elizabeth I. She keeps having miscarriage after miscarriage. So let's say for, the sake of my story, what if, what would have happened? And let's pretend that here we don't know. She would have become more radicalized, and it would not have pleased Henry. And I think in the end, these two would have had massive fights. And I think he would have found a way to get rid of her, but it would have looked differently. They would have made her a heretic. They would have pushed things towards she's doing something different. He would have tried to find a way to get rid of her. Now, it would have been much harder. Much, much harder. Because she would have been established. She would be the mother of a young prince. But what I'm saying here is that I don't think it would have necessarily saved her life. I think it would have been more complex, much harder. But I think in the end, Henry VIII was a tyrant and a psychopath and a serial killer. So I think if she had not complied and played the role of a submissive wife, which she didn't and wasn't, he would have found a way to get rid of her, even though she was the mother of his son. That's my belief. Let me know in the comments if you see what I'm saying, if you see the complexity here of such an important question. But I don't think that ultimately, if she had had a son, it would have saved her. I think there would have still been risks for her, because she would have gone more and more radicalized, more and more interested in Protestant. But also, she just kept voicing her concerns, having a voice. And it really annoyed Henry VIII. He loves his women quite smart. I mean, all of them are very, very smart. Yet, it's also what really annoys him deep down. He doesn't like when they outsmart him. And I would agree that most of them, or all of them, Catherine Howard is a bit difficult, but the other 5, I'm pretty sure, outsmarted him. Let me know in the comments what you think about my theory, and thank you so much for watching. Bye!